Hi everyone. Today we'll discuss about multiprogramming system. Multiprogramming system is nothing but when two or more programs want to share the same processor. We call that as a multiprogramming operating system. So more than one program want to execute at the same time with a single processor will go for multiprogramming operating system. So this multiprogramming operating system has been divided into two parts. One is the operating system, the other one is the jobs which we are going to execute at the same time. So these are the memory layers of multiprogramming system. So this part we call it as an operating system, and the rest of the part we call it as a jobs which has been assigned for the execution. The steps in multiprogramming operating system is the operating system will keep several jobs in the main memory simultaneously at a time. Whichever the jobs you want to be executed, that jobs will be kept in the main memory at a time. And the second step is the operating system, what it does in the sense it will select one of the program and start executing that program or a job. For example, if program 1 it started executed, if that program 1 needs to involve into IO operation, in that case, what the OS will do in the sense it will switch over the next job, that is program 2 to execute. Once the program 1 finishes this IO operation, once the IO operation is done by the program 1, then the OS will switch the control from program 2 to program 1. These are the steps followed by the multiprogramming operating system. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of multiprogramming operating system? One is high CPU utilization. See, for example, in the previous example, we have seen that if program 1 involves into an IO operation, the time being the program 2 will be utilizing the processor. So proper utilization of processor is done, so it is high CPU utilization. So that is one advantages. Increasing throughputs. So we are utilizing the processor efficiently so that we can get the output faster comparing to the single time processing. Okay, so it increases the throughputs. Number of outputs you can get very fast. It manages several jobs at a time. At a time, it will manage more than one job with the help of this multi-programming system. That is also an advantage. So what is the disadvantages in this is CPU scheduling is required. So we have to schedule that CPU. So it is one disadvantage. Lot of movements has to be done, that is one disadvantages. To accommodate many jobs in memory management is also required. So at a time we are executing more than one program, so proper memory management is required. So that also one disadvantages we are facing in this multi-programming system. Now we'll discuss about spooling. Spooling is a kind of buffer that holds the job for a device till the device is ready to accept the job. It is nothing but, for example, if in an organization we have n number of systems. If all the systems are being connected with a single printer, if n number of users wants to give a print at a time, that jobs are created a queue and it has been stored. That storage space we can consider as a spooling. So, spooling considers the disk as a huge buffer that can store as many jobs of the device till the output device are ready to accept them. Here, the output device, the example which I have given is printer. So, till the printer accept for the job, the printing jobs has to wait in a buffer area. We call that buffer area as a spooling, where the memory space of the spooling is large. See this diagram so that you will be understanding exactly what the spooling will do. As soon as the card reader reads the data and it will be, if you want to print, okay, it will just wait in a disk. Once the printer is ready to accept the content from the disk, the content will be moved to the printer. So the storage space between the card reader and the printer, we call that as a spooling. It is a temporary storage space where we can store the data before printing the content. So I hope you understood what is spooling. So now we'll see the advantages of spooling. The spooling operation uses a disk as a very large buffer space. So whenever the output has to be printed, the job will be stored in a disk for a temporary time. Once the printer is ready to accept the job from the disk to the printer will be moved. This is one advantages where there is a very large buffer space to store whichever the data jobs you want to print using the printer. Spooling is however capable of overlapping I/O operation. So it supports the user way of overlapping the jobs. For example, in a printer at a time, if two or three data needs to be printed, it won't be a meaningful. To make it more meaningful, we are just storing whichever the data has to be printed in the disk, and then we are sending it to the printer. So the data will be a exact one. So that is one advantages we have in the spooling. Now we will see what is time sharing operating system. In time sharing operating system, time slot or time slice will be given for each and every user to execute the program. Within the given time slice, the program has to get executed. The time shared operating system allows many users to share the computer simultaneously. With the help of this time sharing system, more than one user can execute their program at a time. That is what has been supported by the time sharing system operating system. In this example, you will understand what is time slice or time sharing operating system will do. There is n number of users with a single CPU. For example, user 5 is in active mode. For each and every user, the timings will be given for a particular execution of the program. For example, if 5 milliseconds is being given for each user. Currently, user 5 is executing. The user 5 can execute the program for 5 milliseconds. Whether the program has got executed or not, it has to give the CPU to the user 6, which is ready to accept the CPU. So like this, user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 will be given a time slice. Within the time slice, the programmer can execute the program. Either they can complete the program or they can continue in the next when they get the CPU, next slot. Now we'll see the advantages of time sharing operating system. The task of many users are processed simultaneously. So more than one job or one user are utilizing the CPU at a time, at the same time. And idle time of CPU is minimized. So one or the other user will utilize the CPU. So the idle time of CPU is very less. So the idle time is minimized. That is one advantages. User get a quick response. So the time slice has been given for each and every user. Within the timing, if they complete their task, they can finish their task in a faster way. That is what the advantages of this time sharing operating system. So user gets a quick response. Resources can be shared at a time, so that the resources, whatever the resources has been given, can be shared by one or the other user and in using this time sharing system. The disadvantages of time sharing system is complex than multi-programming system. If you compare this multi-programming system, time sharing system is complex. That is one disadvantage. Memory management and disk management is required, so that also one disadvantage is more memory is there and disk movement has to be taken place. That's one disadvantages we have. And it need concurrent control at a time. Controlling has to be taken place. Okay, so that is one disadvantage, and protection is necessary. So other users may access the data, so protection is very less in time sharing system. So that is the disadvantages of time sharing system. I hope that you understood this advantages and disadvantages of time sharing system.